Match reaction time between Wrexham and Dagenham and Redbridge, and it did finish Wrexham 4, Dagenham and Redbridge 1 at the Racecourse Ground. Paul Mullin and Ollie Palmer getting a brace, and Junior Mariah scoring. Do you know what? It was an exceptional consolation goal for them. It didn't really mean anything. 9 minutes of injury time due to the injury of Johan Zuma. I mean, you know, I do wish him a speedy recovery in terms of the injury, but yeah, Wrexham 4, Dagenham and Redbridge 1 was the final scoreline. What did I make of the performance? And that is that, do you know what? Did Wrexham even get out of second gear? Because I don't think they did. I don't even think they got out of first gear, never mind second gear. Like, the way they played, they were passing it about, it was free-flowing football. Jacob Mendy, like, nearly ended up getting Jacob Mendy with a goat tattoo. And you think about that in the long run, that's all just banter aside on that front. But Jacob Mendy even looked ferocious on the ball. That is the word that I'm looking for anyway. In terms of he was having shots at goal, going up and down the wings, and you know, he's playing wing back essentially as well. So he was doing his defensive duties as well as his attacking duties. Anthony Ford was superb, Max Cluworth superb, Ben Tozer superb, you know, Adam Hayden superb. My only issue is Tom O'Connor being injured. Obviously, I know he didn't play, but is that not enough to say that Phil Parkinson needs to bring in a centre midfield? Now, in essence of that, he probably does need to bring in a centre midfield, because if JJ or Luke Young was to get injured, then in my opinion, unless you're going to stick Anthony Ford there and put Bryce Osana right wing back, then there is no one, as I know of anyway, that you can put there in that midfield position. But Paul Mullin and Ollie Palmer looking the outfit once again. Obviously getting the goals, which is absolutely incredible for them moving forward. You know, if they can keep that goal scoring form up, then is there any reason why Wrexham can't win the league? I mean, the only reason that I could give is if you were to play against Notts County or Chesterfield again, the midfield does need to be shapened up, and obviously Parkinson's tactics. But if you look into that from a flip point side of view, you can't exactly go out for a 4-4-2. You can't go and play a 4-3-3. You can't go and play these types of formations, because the way Wrexham is so set is actually so complex and so, in words, unchangeable, unless you're 5-0 up and you're playing Jacob Mendy left midfield or Bryce Osana right midfield or something like that. But I just don't think that Wrexham have as much resources as what people think. Now, Mark Howard again done what he needed to do. He was superb, and do you know what? You've got to rate that. You absolutely have to rate Mark Howard now, and I think that he's actually settled in to the point of he's no longer making the mistakes. He's actually got a level head. He's showing the experience that's obviously required of him. Now, my biggest flaw when it comes to Wrexham is, if I say that I don't rate a player, I feel like I'm going to get heavily criticised of it. Now, for me, looking longevity and long-term moving forward, I don't really rate James Jones to the ability of, if you were to bring in like a National League proven centre midfield, they could probably do a better job than what he can. But at the end of the day, he plays for Wrexham, he's doing the job. You can see he puts the effort in, so, you know, you can't fault that at the end of the day. I just think longevity going forward, I don't think he's the man. I think apart from that though, the side practically looks complete. I think Elliot Lee looks a lot better coming off the bench than he does ever starting for Wrexham. I think Sam Dolby, his time will come. I think the only frustration and the flip side to that though is Jordan Tunnicliffe. Now, I was discussing this with someone on the train coming back from Wrexham, and it was the point to the degree of, if you're 4 or 5-0 up, what's the harm in going, Jordan, come on mate, you're getting 20 minutes, 15 minutes, see how you do, because going forward, right, he's not had the game time. Now, do you really sit there and think that Jordan Tunnicliffe just dropped from, is it Crawley Town or wherever he came from in the Football League, just to go, yeah mate, sound, I'll sit on the bench and not play any games and get me dough and make me money, and that's it really. But no, he won't do that. So what's the flip side to that is what happens to him, because if he doesn't get game time, he's going, in my eyes, if that was me and I wasn't getting game time, I'd want to leave in January, whether it's a loan deal and you reset for the season. If Wrexham do get promotion to League 2, you know, you're set for that, and you go, yeah, Sam, mate, I'll go out on loan. I can go, I don't know, Newport County, I can go, can he go Shrewsbury? I don't know. But he can go out on loan, and that's an option for him. Now, the other option is you play him in the FA Trophy. If he does well, you start him. If you're 4-0 up, you bring him off the bench. You give him game time. You let him gel in with the lads. Because right now, moving into like Notts County and stuff like that, say if Aaron Hayden or Ben Tozer or even Max Clue were to get injured, your next choice is Jordan Tunnicliffe. Now, for someone who's not gelled in the side, for someone who's not, he's not sharp in terms of match fitness because he's not played. You know, he can be match fitness ready, but is he match fitness sharp? No. Is he gelled in with the lads? No. So then what's to say he comes off, you know, one of the centre-halves gets injured, he starts the next game and he has a poor game. What happens then? Because he's going to get slaughtered to the high heavens, and in my opinion, does he deserve that? No, but, you know, it is what it is on that front. I mean, moving back onto the positives though, Jordan Davis was class. JJ, like I did mention, I don't rate him, but he gave 10 out of 10 effort and even bagged himself an assist, and he does deserve that, to be honest. I genuinely do think though, if Tom O'Connor was fit and he wasn't so much injury prone, then he'd be starting over JJ. But you can't fault someone when they put the effort in. You've got to hold your hands up. You've got to give him that due, and to be fair, he put that effort in. Luke Young, superb as usual. And yeah, it does come to that point, you know, Phil Parkinson bringing on Sam Dolby, brought on Elliot Lee and Callum McFadden as well. You know, I did mention it was probably harsh for oh Jesus Christ, the voice crack, but it was probably harsh for Callum McFadden to be dropped against Dorking Wanderers because of that performance that he put in against Gateshead. It was just an abysmal time in that Gateshead game where the whole team was shocking in my opinion, but you know, he comes off the bench, he does his job needed, and I think the squad depth apart from the centre midfield role is actually complete. Now, you've got Rory Watson. I know he didn't, from what I've seen in that, well, heard of in that reserve game, he didn't have a really good time. But if you look at it in the long run, you've got Rory Watson there, he's played 40 odd games for Scunthorpe United in League 2, so he's got the experience, he's not a pushover. Whether he's had a bad game because he's not played for so long probably makes sense. You know, you've got Jordan Tunnicliffe, in my opinion, needs match fitness. He needs to be sharp, he needs to be able to gel in with the lads. You know, you've got Bryce Asana, you've got Callum McFadden, you've got Tom O'Connor, but he's injured, so your centre midfield spot in my eyes is void, because I'd never drop Jordan Davis back there because of what he can do in that number 10 position. Now, that number 10 position, you've also got Elliot Lee. Now, going up front, you've got Elliot Lee and Sam Dolby. So, the squad depth's there for Wrexham, and I think in a lot of the run, it's probably complete compared to other teams in the National League. But, yeah, that really being said, going forward, you know, it is what it is at that point. Now, moving on into Junior Marias' goal, because that is the point of, it was an exceptional consolation goal, but at the same time, can you really switch off at that point in the game? No. I mean, a clean sheet would have been nice, but you know, it is what it is, and Junior Marias did get that exceptional consolation goal. But you know, I thought the game was going to be a lot tighter. I thought the game was going to be a lot more a physical battle. I didn't think Wrexham was going to cruise it as much as what they actually did, which was, to my surprise, a fair enough response, if that makes sense. Like, they exceeded my expectations in that game. I thought it might have been a bit like, how can I put it, the consistency not being there, because, you know, you go to Gateshead, they were playing poor but got the result. You know, go to Dorking, they smashed it, and then obviously the Maidenhead game got called off, and I thought that would have upset the tempo a bit, but clearly not, and clear to see that Wrexham have smashed it. So going into Southend United now, it does need to be 110% going into that game, pick up the 3 points going into that game, and then Torquay United at home before the international break. But you know, one thing I do want to point out as well, if no one's seen the matchday vlog between Wrexham and Dagenham and Redbridge, do go and check that out, and I will leave the link down in the description down below. But the passion from Paul Mullin, now he scores that headed goal to make it 2-0, and I've never seen it where it looks like he's looking at the camera. I'm not sure if he actually was or not. The only person that could actually tell you is Paul Mullin himself. But to have the passion and the desire and the hungriness and everything like that, to, you know, mate, honestly, it was phenomenal, and I think that Wrexham are really up for it this season. The only people that can upset it for Wrexham is obviously your two teams that are obviously challenging in Chesterfield and Notts County, but also Wrexham themselves. Now, let me know what your thought processes are on this game in the comment section down below, and you know, let me know what your views are of it. You know, the one thing that I'm not going to mention is the minute silence, because I don't feel like it needs to be mentioned. You know, at the end of the day, it was disgusting, but I'm not going to go in depth about that, because at the end of the day, everyone's got their own views. I just think that the club should have been respected, and the club's wishes should have got respected, but it is what it is in that essence. But apart from that, let's end it on a high note. Ollie Palmer, it was only a few weeks ago I was saying maybe drop him for Sam Dolby. How wrong's he proved me, because mate, banging in the goals, he's found his feet again and he's hitting the form, and do you know what, fair play. Now, moving on into future videos, Southend United preview will be out on Friday morning, and then obviously the matchday vlog, which will probably be out on the Sunday morning depending on what time I get back, and because once I get back I've got to edit the vlog and things like that. But yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, subscribe and tap that bell for more notifications for as when I upload. Until next time guys, I shall see you on the Southend United versus Wrexham preview.